What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy. I am back, Jordan JC on the ATS Report. And do you believe? Do you believe? What am I talking about? The Colorado Buffaloes just defeated TCU over this past weekend, 45 to 42, and everybody is just going nuts about it. They were shocked. It was unexpected by some, not by me. I was expecting this to be a win for Colorado and Deion and his boys, his son, Travis Hunter, and all these guys. Congratulations to them. Let's talk about it. So, again, the score was 45-42. TCU came in as, I believe, 20-point over as far as being able to win against Colorado. Colorado came in as underdogs for plus 20. And as you can see, nowhere near there, right? But why is it that they were so much of an underdog? Well, let's just be honest. Everybody thought that this was a gimmick, right? That this was just something that was kind of like, oh, okay, hee hee ha ha. Yeah, Jackson State University, Deion Sanders, they dominated an HBCU. Now they're in the big leagues. Now they don't stand a chance, right? Especially against a team that was the runner-up in the national championship last year. But as you can see, they held their own. And I have a lot of reasons as to why. Number one, it's cliche, but what always beats out talent? Hard work. But let's just say you have both of those things on your team, which this Colorado team does, then it is extrememely difficult to beat a team like that. When you put in the time, when you put in the work ethic, when you have the kind of camaraderie that this team does, dating all the way back to being at Jackson State, that actually matters. Having that consistency on and off the field actually impacts the way that players play together, in my opinion. And so this was on full display this past weekend. Congratulations to those boys. We're just going to go into a few of the stats. Shador Sanders had an all otherworldly game. One of his best games passing as a quarterback. His ceiling is just completely gone out the roof. He is going to be an excellent player for many of these games to come. Shador was 38 for 47 in completions, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then you had four receivers that had over 100 yards in the game, led by Dylan Edwards, that had 5 receptions for 135 yards for 3 touchdowns. Just killed. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, 11 receptions, 119 yards. Now, he didn't have any touchdowns, but why do I bring his name up? Because he also was playing defense. This man played almost the entire game and he got an interception as a cornerback. So a player like that, who was highly ranked before he even got on Deion's team at Jackson State, a player like that, you just can't you don't see those type of players come around, and that's why I think that this team is special. They're not some flash in the pan, some fluke, as a lot of analysts and experts think. These are the real deal. This is a real deal team, and they shown it. They TCU was ranked 17th in national football in the I'm sorry, in the college football, and clearly they came in thinking that this was going to be a walk in the park. But Deion Sanders already said before the game started a week before that, hey, we already knew we were going to win when we came in, because he instilled that confidence in these boys. This is not something that's just a game. A lot of people view Deion Sanders as just this kind of gimmick. Oh, he's all showboaty. He's prime time. He could have left that on the field back when he was in his heyday, right? Well, it almost seems as if he's translating that same mentality and that same type of championship and winning mindset into himself as a coach, and also instilling that and infusing that into these players as well. Number one, his own son. A lot of people think that, oh, well, his son, yeah, of course he's going to have him at quarterback because it's his son. No, his son is actually a talented player. 510 yards is nothing to sniff at when you're passing against an extremely well coached and extremely talented team on the other side in TCU. And so, again, big ups to them. Now let's get to the post-game conference. I thought that Deion Sanders handled himself extremely well with all the questions. And of course, there were some that he pointed out, and it was kind of a funny thing. But at the same time, he was serious. He said, "Hey, do you believe?" I remember that uh, post that you read about, that you wrote about us. That was a bunch of jive. And do you believe now? You didn't think that we could come in here and do this, going away on TCU's own field and winning against them 45-42. Did you think that we could even get close to winning against them? Of course not. Do you believe now? And the reporter had nothing to say. He said, no, of course not. You still don't believe, but we're going to show you. And so I appreciate that kind of response from Deion. It's not arrogance. This is something that when you put in the time, you put in the work, you make practice a priority, and you instill in all of these young players, these young talented players, how to play the game right, to put in the time, to put in the work ethic, to put in the consistency. This is what you get out of it. This is not a fluke. And so going from HBCU to now D1 football, making that transition isn't going to be complicated. It's not going to be a challenge as many people think. Of course, you have the top tier power house colleges like an Ohio State, an Alabama, a TCU, a Georgia, and so on and so forth. That of course, recruit all of these five-star players, and it's just assumed that well, these are going to be the people, these are going to be the teams that are going to be, there at the end, right? Well, it seems like there's going to be a new day, and it's not just with Colorado, but they're one of the teams that's an example of when you put in the work, when you have a leader like a Deion Sanders, prime time, that's leading the right way and coaching these boys up the right way. This is what you can get out of it. Victories like this, and I think it's going to continue to. It's going to continue. This Saturday, they're going to play against the second team in the on their schedule, Nebraska, and now the AP has actually ranked Colorado 22nd. They weren't ranked at first, so now they're in the top 25, and I believe that they're just going to continue to get better and better. I believe they could get in the top 10 maybe by midweek or rather mid-season, and we're going to see just how far this team can go. Um, they're not fake people. They're not a facade, and so we're looking forward to seeing exactly how uh, uh, good this team can be, how many victories they can pile up on their way to that BCS, and we'll see exactly where they stand once the end of the season comes to a close, and we're talking about what kind of championship they're going to be in. And so, props to those boys, props to Deion Sanders, props to Shadua, props to Travis Hunter, props to Dylan Edwards, and the whole team for putting themselves on the map. And I think they're going to stay on the map. How do you guys feel? Do you think that Colorado is a fluke? Do you think that this is a facade? Do you think that they're a team that is going to fizzle out? Maybe this was just kind of one of those okay fluke wins, and maybe it's going to kind of come back down to earth. Or do you think that they are the real deal? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you on the next episode of the ATS Report.